Alright guys, I'm coming at you today with how to build, not so much as how to build, but how to make your room pages for mid laners. A little bit of a TLDR video here on what I think you should do, what I found to be the best, and just go over that a little bit. So we're going to start off, I'll just create a new basic page here just to go over a few of the options. And I feel like the big question here is if you play mages or if you play assassins. So if you play regular old mages, I would suggest doing either Arcane Comet or even Summon Airy. Both those are very helpful for poking down your opponent, and as a mage, that is really what you're going for. Whereas, let me go back here. So if you're playing an assassin though, you almost always want to take Electrocute unless you're planning on roaming a lot. Actually, Predator has been played a lot by a lot of people. It makes people that don't have the across map capabilities like a Twisted Fate teleport, maybe a Ziggs ultimate, things like that to be relevant outside lanes. Oh, Talia ult makes that to where they're able to match that and also even maybe outmaneuver their opponents and how often they're ganking. But if you play pretty well for yourself without going out of lane too much, you want to take Electrocute. Alright, and since I'm here, we'll continue going over how to do assassins in this patch. So most assassins will typically have some kind of a jump, leap, whatever. They'll have some kind of movement, mobility, in which that is why I take sudden impact. Gives you extra lethality or magic penetration, and that's, with how strong everybody is early on, that can really make or break getting that first blood, killing your opponent that quickly. Then next up, I always take eyeball collection. Whenever I go mid lane, I always make sure to keep pinks on one side of the river and whatnot. If an opponent ever puts wards over there, really try to clear those out and whatnot, give me free eyeball collections. Not to mention, if you're able to get kills on, free AD or AP. Always a good option there. Then depending upon who I'm playing, I will usually take active item CDR. Just because of the fact that if I'm playing a assassin like LeBlanc, maybe Casson or something, that gives me additional or like a lower cooldown on my Zhonya's. And if you've played the AP mid assassins before, you know that Zhonya's is definitely almost required. Even for the AD assassins, having the reset cooldown on your Yomos and your what is the spell shield blade called? The lethality one there. I can't remember the item. I'm sorry, guys. I'm failing you. I'm letting you down. But from there, what I actually like to do is I will generally take precision or sorcery. It really depends upon who I'm playing. In this case, we're going to go with sorcery. Because ultimate hat will always be your best bet. Always be your best friend. It never is bad to have, that's for sure. And then also with being an assassin, you want to make sure to have movement. I kind of like taking water walking as an assassin. It really depends on how you like to play. Because if you also play passive, adaptive damage while you're above 70% life, you can go ahead and do that, or Gathering Storm. Both those are good. If you play real aggressive though, I would suggest taking Scorch. And that overall is that room page actually. So that is the base assassin page that I would take for you into lane and whatnot. If you see me on the Rift, that is what I'd be taking. Going over to mages now, as I said, take Arcane Comet or Summon Airy. I've been really liking Arcane Comet. It's really hard to dodge because it's pretty quick about how fast it goes. Let's go with that. It's pretty difficult to dodge. But of course, ultimate hat you want to take. I really like doing the adaptive damage as well. And then from here, really depends upon the ADC, or not ADC, wow, the mid laner I'm playing. I'll take Gathering Storm typically because it does give you pretty solid AP ratios. Let me go ahead and pull this up. So only at 10 minutes, 8, 20 minutes, you get 24, 30, 48. Like, that is a lot of additional ability power at 48 or at 30 minutes. So that is incredibly helpful. Just overall having that stat right there. If you have death cap, let's see here, death cap gives you what, 25% or 30% more, so that's almost 60 AP right there. Yeah, that is 60 AP right there. Really hard to turn that down. Alright, so for being a mage, the next thing I like to take is actually domination. And then from here, I like to do, it depends on the champion I'm playing. If I have some way to impair their movement, I'll do cheap shot. If I have some kind of mobility myself, I'll do sudden impact. That's how I pick between those two. And then the next one that I like to take is Ingenious Hunter. You get additional item cooldown, and that's really helpful. Once again, you have Zanya's that you can utilize on that. Seraph's Embrace if you're playing someone that uses one of those. Just overall incredibly helpful. The people don't really expect a whole lot either. So those are the two generic pages. Now I'll show you guys my exact rune pages. So I have two of them currently, actually. Two AP pages, I believe. An AP mobility, AP non-mobility one. So we're going to jump over here to my AP mobility page. So this is actually my assassin page. So, because I don't play AD assassins really, I play a lot of LeBlanc, Castan, people like that. So Electrocute, Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, Ravenous Hunter. So the reason why I take Ravenous Hunter and over the item cooldown actually here is because of the fact that on LeBlanc, I actually do not get the Gunblade. So I'll get Zanya's really late into the game. So with that, having this, it allows me to get away without having that Gunblade. And I can just get early on spell pin of Sword Shoes, Haunting Guys, things like that, and still have some healing going. The sorcery, as I said, Scorch because I play pretty aggressive, and Ultimate Hat because it's definitely the best. And then for the non-mobile AP people, so I do have Summon Airy here. I do this because a lot of times I'll play Ziggs, Vygar, things like that. I don't know. I like both the Comet and the Summon Airy. It's really personal preference. So that's kind of why I take Summon Airy. I don't know. I like it. It's nice having the little ghost, that way as soon as it comes back, it can come back to you instead of having a legitimate cooldown on it. Ultimate Hat, of course, absolute focus, because you probably won't be going up too much, trying to pick too many fights, more so poking, and Gathering Storm to get to those really late game damages. Domination, Relentless Hunter, so that gives you extra movement speed, so that way you can actually try to get down to fight other people, because usually mages don't have too much in the form of map pressure or presence. So that way, this really helps out with that, of trying to be able to get down to, down to bot lane, down up to mid lane, or up to top lane. Wow. Yeah, so that's pretty helpful there. And Eyeball Collection, I really like it. Any kills or assists, you get eyeballs, and anytime you kill a ward, you also get them. Just gives you extra damage pretty much for free for playing the game. So that's always good. And then with having Domination, as you can see here, it gives me an extra 25 ability power early on. You combine that with the Absolute Focus in the beginning. I think it only gives like maybe 8, something like that, maybe even less than that. It doesn't give a whole lot from the beginning. But you combine that, that's 33. And then a 15 from Doran's Ring. You're at a lot of ability power early on. Really nice for getting those kills and whatnot. Really stacking things up if you're Vygar, even poking, harassing, whatever you really need. I feel like this is a very helpful rune page for the mages that aren't very mobile. Hence why AP non-mobility. Alright, so if I had to create one AP page, we're going to go in here and we're going to So if I had to create one AP page, what I would do myself is I would actually do most likely this, where I would take Arcane Comet, Ultimate Hat. I would not do Absolute Focus. Yeah, I would actually do Absolute Focus along with Scorch instead, if I could only make one, because Scorch is pretty helpful on most people. Then this is where it would come down to how you play. Probably do Cheap Shot, and then from here, take the item cooldown. So with that, that's how I would make a generic AP page for mid laners and whatnot. I believe this probably would kind of work out with AD assassins and whatnot. Probably not the best for the most part. I mean, you do have your Cheap Shot, which is nice, and Genius Hunter for the Yomos, things such as that nature. This is definitely more so for mages, though. If it was for a AD assassin, I would suggest maining domination, essentially flipping, and have sorcery over here. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little bit about the runes Reforged, what to build, what not to build, what to take into lane and whatnot. And I'll see you guys on the Rift.